I'm Lauren Morris, and this is An American Perspective. Ongoing violence between Palestine and Israel can be traced back decades, most notably to wars and uprisings going back to the 1920s. However, the history of violence between Muslims and Jews dates back to the time of the Prophet Muhammad. It is a long history that indeed relevant to the current conflict it is, certainly in ideology. Hamas's origins lie in adherence to Islamic doctrine and also in Egypt's Muslim Brotherhood going back as far as the 1960s. Sheikh Ahmed Yassin established Hamas in 1987 as the political arm of the Muslim Brotherhood in Gaza, calling it the Islamic Resistance Movement. And on August 8, 1988, Hamas published a covenant with God called the Covenant of the Islamic Resistance Movement. The covenant calls for the destruction of Israel and the establishment of an Islamic society in historic Palestine by declaring that in the name of Allah, Israel will exist and will continue to exist until Islam will obliterate it, just as it obliterated others before it, quoting Imam Hassan al-Banna. Fast forward to 1993 when Hamas conducted its first suicide bombing 5 months before then Palestinian President Yasser Arafat and the Israeli Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin signed the Oslo Accords, establishing limited self-government for parts of the West Bank and Gaza under a newly created entity, the Palestinian Authority. Hamas condemned the accords and the recognition between the parties. On October 8, 1997, the United States designated Hamas as a foreign terrorist organization with Hezbollah and others like them. Despite this, Hamas carried on with violent resistance in the early 2000s, but also gained in popularity with the citizens by providing humanitarian and economic aid and waging political campaigns against the Fatah Authority that the citizens deemed corrupt. Hamas achieved full control of Gaza when elected in 2006. In Gaza, Hamas enforces strict Sharia law, including forced Islamic dress for women and segregation. The men, however, may have 4 wives and therefore are currently 50,000 pregnant women in Gaza, according to reports, and a dominant population of children. Media, civilian activism, and political opposition all are suppressed. Charity work is a basic principle in the Islamic world for its worshippers to adhere to and is often used as a false front for terrorism funding and militant extremists. Hamas is not held accountable for what it does with the hundreds of millions of dollars that come from taxing goods and services between itself and Egypt, foreign governmental aid, citizen tax revenue or investments, and aid from the private sector. It openly enjoys the support of Russia, and Iran openly admits to providing Hamas with weapons and was quick to praise their assault upon Israel. Hamas's covenant with God to destroy Israel cultivates an unstable society and support for war crimes by its very own citizens. Hamas does not protect its people, it uses them. In fact, the results of the current stage of the war reveal that Egypt and Hamas both have blocked refugee exit from the country. The underground tunnel system is not used to protect its women and children from any Israeli counterattacks. On the contrary, the tunnel system is built underneath city structures, mosques, hospitals, and residential areas, and is used to store fuel for its attacks. Hamas has been accused of using its citizens as shields from where it embeds its 30,000 to 40,000 jihadis within facilities that then become targets for Israeli counterstrikes. Israel has consistently warned the citizens of Gaza that fire would be returned with fire, and it did the same when it declared war. Israel warned Gazans what it planned to do. The current situation is not a surprise. It's nothing new. Outraged Palestinians the world over claimed that Israel's response is disproportionate. But this claim was prior to the vicious videos of Hamas torturing and kidnapping citizens, burning and beheading babies, gang raping and skinning women alive, and dismembering family members in front of each other. Would an appropriate response have been the savagery of an eye for an eye? Hamas did this to its own citizens because it does not value life. It values jihad, martyrdom, and the glory of death in battle, and that too is doctrinal. The level of response emerges to have been a long time coming for the Israelis. Hezbollah, Iran, and their allies are taking note, and experts are weighing in on the military capabilities and weapons of the combatants currently positioning themselves for an expanded war in the Middle East, including the United States. What Hamas has started, Israel plans to finish this time once and for all. This is Lauren Morris, and this is an American Perspective.